Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be looking at the S.H.Figuarts Full Power Frieza. This one has been a long time coming. I've wanted this figure for a while, ever since it was announced last year, and the important capping off point for the Namek figures, which is ironic because it's also not the last Namek S.H.Figuarts we're getting. There is also Crying Vegeta that is coming next year, or like the old Battle Clothes Vegeta, and the healing machine thing that is coming out as well. Like, I feel like we're done with Namek as well as not done with Namek, but generally this is the capping off point. This is the peak of the Namek saga. This is what all of the figures up until now has been leading to, between the legendary Super Saiyan Goku and Full Power Frieza. These were the ones. These were the really important figures to get. And the legendary Super Saiyan Goku was a standard release. This is a P Bandai release. It kind of sucks that it's P Bandai because it's such an important figure to have. It shouldn't be limited, but it is what it is. It is a cool figure, and we will be looking at everything that he comes with. So out of the box, here's what Frieza comes with. It is a very nice loadout, pretty much everything you could want. So he comes with 4 head sculpts, a face for the legendary Super Saiyan Goku, 2 alternate feet, a bunch of hands, as well as the sort of Death Saucer Destructo Disc type things that he threw at the end of Namek. And that's it. But it is a very, very solid loadout because the figure itself is really good and it comes with what the figure needs to come with. The only thing that I think would have been better is if there were sort of cut in half parts, similar to what they did with the Mecha Frieza. But beggars can't be choosers. It's fine as is. It would have been just over the top if they did that. It would have been absolutely 100% figure of the year if they had done that. And look, already it's still a really, really good figure. Is it figure of the year? We'll see. There's still some time left in the year, and the Naruto figures are really, really good, so it's tough competition. But this is very, very good as is. Only one thing could have changed it to be just even better, but what we do have is all the necessary stuff, which I really, really like. So taken out of the box and put on a display here is Frieza in all his bulky glory, and he looks really, really good. There's a lot of nice detail all throughout this figure, a lot of popping veins, bulky muscles. There is some nice shading throughout as well. I don't know if the shading shows on camera, but there's some nice subtle like blue shading around some of the creases and whites just to give it that little extra depth, which I do appreciate. Similar to the Goku, there are battle scars throughout the figure, but they are unpainted, and it's more so something that you only see upon closer inspection. But it is fine, and the stature and bulk of this figure is just so good. I'm so happy with it. It looks like what we needed, and we will see shortly him up against the others, and it pretty much calls for like a proper redo of Final Form Frieza. We've used that 1.0 mold way too many times. We really need an update. But here he is next to the legendary Super Saiyan Goku, and you see they scale really, really well together. I do love this look. I am so glad that they did both of these figures. Here he is next to the first form Frieza, the second form Frieza, the third form Frieza, the fourth form Frieza, and Mecha Frieza, as well as Golden Frieza. And here they are all lined up together, and you can see how this line has come, how it's gone, which ones really need an update. Realistically, if we get another Golden Frieza and another Final Form Frieza, it would be perfect, because the first, second, third, and Mecha forms are all great. And they are the sort of modern designs, which all work really, really nice. The Final Form figure is just so old, it's even so hard to stand it up. The Golden Frieza is sort of forgiven because it is a very, very old figure, and they only sort of did one real release of it. The other one was an event exclusive, and again, they're both old releases. But Final Form, like, they did a repaint not super long ago, and they keep re-releasing it. Like, it needs an update. But they do still look all great together, and it's so cool to finally have all of the forms of Frieza lined up. I know there's no Black Frieza, but that's a manga thing, and they're not going to do an official figure of that unless it ever comes to the anime. But in terms of posability, we've got a ball joint at the head and neck. It is a bit of a stiff ball joint in the head, but the neck is fairly forgiving to make up for that. The arms can butterfly out, which is pretty nice. It is a solid joint. They can hinge out that far, rotate all the way around. The swivel at the upper arm is quite tight. There's a bend at the elbow, as well as a hinge at the wrist. There's a ball joint in the chest, which allows for a decent amount of crunching and rotation. The gem in his chest is movable, like most other Friezas. There's a swivel at the waist. The crotch piece is a soft plastic, so it can bend out of the way just fine, so you can kick forward and back that far. You can do the splits that far. There's a swivel at the upper leg, bend at the knee, and hinge and pivot at the ankle, as well as a rotation at the tail. So it's what you expect posability wise from Frieza. It is very much what you normally get with Frieza figures, but just because of the added bulk of the figure, it is still nice that he is as posable as the others. And a lot of S.H.Figuarts posability is all very, very similar, but it's all about the range of motion that you get out of those joints, and this is a very, very solid one to have. In terms of faces, Frieza gets a smiling face out of the box. He's got a teeth-gritted angry face with a really big scowl. He's got another teeth-gritted angry face with asymmetrical eyes, and a shouting face, again with asymmetrical eyes, and all of these faces look really, really good. If I were to change something, I could probably do without one of the teeth-gritted ones, like either or, and have some other face that's like maybe even a reaction damaged face, because we do have a reaction like battle damaged face from Goku where he's sort of being punched or hit. And it is nice that we are getting like faces like this and options like this now. Like, so Goku's got that, the Naruto line introduced that with the Top 99 figure. So it is cool that it is finally something we're seeing. And with that accessory, and with all the other accessories, you can get some decent expressiveness out of this figure, and it is nice to do. It is a little bit tricky to line things up to make the impact face work, but I think I did an okay job of it, and all of the detail on all of these looks really, really good. I didn't find any real paint imperfections on it, and Frieza just, it's so expressive, so bulky, and so good. And I really, really, really like this figure. He's everything that I wanted, and he just looks so good in pretty much any pose. Just the added bulk just does so much for this figure. And the death sources look really, really good. They plug into separate hands, and this connection is solid. The disc is light, so he can stand up while holding these no problem. And because the joints are so solid, there's just no issue with this at all. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with this figure. It's kind of goofy, kind of cool. It's got all the best accessories, the sculpt work and paint work. What little paint there is all immaculate. And the likeness to the actual character is so, so good. I'm really, really happy that they finally made this figure, and we can effectively close the book on the Namek saga, even though there are still a couple figures on the horizon. But like I said, for the most part, we can close the book on that sort of saga, because this is like the best bookend to all of that. And I am finally happy to see all of this all lined up. I am keen to see the King Cold coming soon, because then we'll pretty much have the entire Frieza family. The only thing that we're missing would be the normal, like, 4th form cooler. But I don't know if they'll do that. It would realistically only be a repaint of the metal cooler, and I think it would be fine. I think it would be great, actually, to have a normal cooler, because the metal cooler mold is so good and so nice, but I'm scared to touch it because of this really, really highly chromed out plastic. But it'd be nice to have that same mold, but just like without having to worry about that sort of stuff. But it is what it is. I'm keen to see King Cold. Realistically, if he's anything like the final form cooler, or the second form Frieza, he might very well be the best figure of the year, just because of the bulk and size of the figure and posability that comes with it. And like accessories, he comes with a throne, and that's cool. But we'll see how it goes. In any case, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.